3. Okay, there we go.
4, 3,
Thank
2,
you.
1. You've got to have your movie thing.
Got. Okay.
Right. So obviously the children enjoyed the story of the Little Red Riding Hood and the Wolf, written by Roald Dahl. And they all obviously know the original story, and I think some of them have heard that one. And I think they enjoyed hearing that story. I think you could have given a few more examples of what inference is.
Oh yeah.
They have heard the word, but I don't think they know it in such like a deeper meaning of what it really is.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know that they did ask for further meaning as to what that was.
Yeah.
And then you said to them that it's another word for implied. And I don't think they understand that word either.
Yeah, I could see that there was one or two little, like blank little looks, and I thought, oh, I was like, I don't know if it was the right word to actually give them. So
I know it's very difficult. So, but anyway, then you did give them examples of what you were looking for, and then they obviously got the idea and they knew what they were looking for. Then I said good inclusion of all the children. You spoke to everybody. Although Guy does dominate, you did include the others as far as Casey goes, and I could see that Alex was getting a little frustrated.
yes.
He always does,
Yeah.
because he wants to compete with Guy, but he battles to do that.
Yeah.
And that was why eventually he was feeling sick, because he couldn't get across what he was thinking or feeling or whatever.
Yes.
But I mean, that's Alex. And then I said, good questions asked to get the children thinking, like whether it was a child-friendly version of Little Red Riding Hood or not.
Yep.
And that obviously got them thinking, especially Casey and Guy. They were obviously interacting with that question, and some said it was, some said it wasn't.
Tiama was, I found really interesting.
Yeah, Tiama was focused on the weapon that was used, and was worried about whether there were chains or not. So that was quite entertaining.
So.
And then it was a lovely idea to compare the similarities and the differences of the story, and then good conclusion to the lesson, and then children were challenged so that they could develop their understanding of what they were being asked.
No, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
I must say, when I was doing it, also I think I was a bit thrown with the inferencing thing when they said like what does it mean? And then when I said no, it means like implied, and they like I saw there was that bit of a like what? I was like,
what?
oh, I was like, okay, let's go through this again, and like to try and get that idea across. But
yeah,
no, so
I gave them examples. So
yeah, so and I'm glad that like at least that helped with giving them the examples. I think something that is always so tricky, but I think it's just how you approach a subject and how you do something. It's just the levels that you have to go with your kids. I mean, no one's on that same level. I mean, like you said, like Guy is dominating because he's good at it and he knows, and he wants to ask those deeper questions, and then you get someone like Dan or like Ethan that's still
they're not there yet.
They're not there yet. Like, and I want to think they'll get there, but they're not there yet. Yes, hopefully, even if it's like in another 3 years or 4 years, they'll get there. But you can
not
see
there yet.
Like they desperately want to try be part of it and want to try do it and will ask stuff, but you could just see, and you have to change your level within teaching, and while you're doing it, you have to actually go from that higher level to then go low and then go back up again. It's a constant dance between where they're at and their abilities.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I
And then
think
Robbie, who's somewhere in the middle.
yes, exactly. He's there, like, and there's some things that he'll answer that you'll be like, oh wow, like he's got it. And then there are other things you're like, nope, missed that boat. Let's go
Yeah.
back onto it again. So
Yes, exactly.
yeah, so that's
Yeah, no,
always interesting for me.
it is very interesting, especially at Bella Vista, because we've got such a varied range of children
Exactly.
and abilities. You can't pitch it at a certain level.
No, you
You've
can't.
got to go up and down.
No, exactly. And I think that's what people don't understand, because they just assume like, oh, remedial school, they're all at one level. And it's really not the case. It's really a case of going up or down. And you have to, within the lesson, you have to go with that expectation and with how it is. So
Yeah, and you can't really plan for it. You've just got to go with the flow.
yeah, absolutely. And I think that's something that I've learned while doing all these lessons, and especially now that I'm seeing more the formal, and we're getting close to their almost their end of year, like we seeing how they're understanding stuff and where they're going to be. And I think it's also just been so interesting for me to see that's you have to be able to think on your feet. And I think in any school, but especially I think in our school situation.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think so.
Yeah, I think, and it's not to say, well, we all think our school is better than every other school, but it's not to say it is or it isn't. It's just how we actually have to be as teachers
Yeah.
and therapists within that environment. We can't just, like you said, we can't pitch at one level and go, okay,
No.
like that's the expected level, like that's where you're at.
Yes.
It's actually
And you never
constantly
know
up
until
and
you've
down.
actually given the lesson
Yeah,
as to what's going to happen.
exactly. No, but I really think it was a really great experience doing the lessons. But I think just today, just seeing that difference with the things, and like saying with the synonyms and antonyms as well, like seeing when they
Yes,
had to actually give them, and that was interesting for me because some of them got it. And
yeah,
then
but often they will give you, for an antonym, they'll give you a synonym, and for a synonym, they'll give you an antonym.
yes, and like I had to be like, just remember, like synonym is the same, and they're like, oh yeah, and I could see one of them was like, no, that's not what I was thinking. So
I know, but they know the concept too, but they'll still give you the wrong word.
exactly. But I also don't think I don't think we can like push on them for, oh, that's because you're in Bella Vista kind of thing, because I really genuinely, that's just
No, I think that's a general thing.
Yeah, I mean, like we
And
also
I'm
saw
sure,
with their language stuff.
yes, that's exactly. And I mean, all the kids that I teach in the afternoon too, they all come from different schools, but they've all got the similar issues.
Exactly. But again, it's just so interesting to see how some of them have also just caught onto, like with our Rava, with the MIMS, the many interesting meanings.
Yes.
Like where like some of them caught onto with like the tough, and they said, oh, tough like strong, and then they thought it was hilarious because I pulled like that picture of like, no, not strong like your arm muscle strong, and they just thought it was the funniest thing. But it was interesting for me.
But they do remember the strategies.
Yes, so they had to go through it then again, but once they got there, then they were fine with it. So like that for me, it's also great. It's indicative of like, it's that scaffolding that you're always wanting stuff to build on. It's just that recall. And I think always with this grade, because I've known them for so long, as well, this grade struggles with that recall and that retention of stuff. It's really like you have to compound it over and over again.
Yes.
So because it's not,
and you got to review it every lesson, what you did the previous lesson.
Exactly, even more so than normal, like you normally would like review, but with them it's like really a case of like, okay, let's spend the first 10 minutes going over what we did again. But I
and
think
then you could do it 10 times and they still won't get it.
Oh, absolutely.
But the 11th time they'll get it.
They'll get it. So they'll get it on the 11th time, and then you can go, yes, I finally got it in there. But awesome. Cool. But thank you so much, Nikki. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Cool. Yeah. And then